They took my pension and said you don't need it. My name is Rihanna, and I never imagined that one day the people I loved the most would make me feel like a stranger in my own home. I wasn't born into wealth. I built my life from quiet sacrifices. Every meal I cooked, every coin I saved, every sleepless night raising my son alone. It all had one purpose, to give him the future I never had. When I retired from my small teaching job, I didn't have much. Just a modest pension, a cozy little house, and a heart full of pride. My son, Robert, had married a few years earlier, and though life wasn't perfect, I believed love would hold us together. At least. That's what I thought. It started with small changes, the kind you almost miss if you're too kind to look closely. My daughter-in-law, Sarah, began deciding what groceries we'd buy, then which guests we'd invite. Soon, even how my pension was managed. Mom, she said one morning, setting down her teacup with that sharp clink of authority, you don't need to worry about money anymore. We'll handle everything. You just rest. I smiled softly. Beta, I've managed it all my life. Let me take care of a few bills at least, she laughed. You've done enough. Let Robert be the man of the house now. Her tone was light, but her eyes weren't. I looked at my son. My Robert, the boy who once held my hand on his way to school. The boy who said, I'll take care of you forever. Mom. Double quotes now. He couldn't even look me in the eye. A week later, I went to withdraw some money for groceries. The ATM screen blinked in red, insufficient balance. I frowned. That couldn't be right. My pension came in just days ago. So I went to the bank. The teller, a polite young man, hesitated before saying, Ma'am, your pension is being transferred automatically to another account. It's a joint one, under your son's name. My heart went cold. They didn't even ask me. That night, I sat quietly at the dinner table. I didn't eat much. Sarah and Robert chatted about new furniture, new curtains, new phones, all bought with my pension. When I reached for some rice, Sarah's voice cut through the air. Mom, you eat but you don't help. At least keep quiet and don't create stress. Robert didn't say a word. I felt something inside me break. Not loudly, not violently, but like glass cracking beneath a silent weight. The next morning, I woke up early, as always. Made tea for everyone. The house was still. Only the ticking clock spoke to me. As I poured tea into my cup, I whispered to myself, they took my pension and said I don't need it. And that's when it hit me. Maybe they were right. Maybe I didn't need their version of it anymore, but I did need something else. My dignity. If you've ever felt invisible in your own home, if you've ever been told your worth has expired, don't let the silence define you. Sometimes quiet hearts can roar the loudest. Days passed. I noticed how Robert's tone had changed. He'd speak to me like a burden, not a blessing. Sarah would lock their bedroom door when the pension alert came on Robert's phone. I started saving whatever I could. Coins from the market, a few rupees tucked inside old recipe books. It wasn't much, but it was mine. One afternoon, as I was folding laundry, I overheard Sarah on the phone, laughing. She's old. She doesn't even know what's happening. We'll have her pension, and how soon? Then maybe we'll move to the city. Her words burned through me like fire. I sat down, shaking, holding my chest. The pain wasn't from betrayal, it was from realization. All those years of love, care, and sacrifice, reduced to a joke over a phone call. That night, I didn't cry. Not even a tear. Instead, I looked around my room, my memories, my photos, my small savings, and said quietly, I may be old, but I'm not done yet. The next morning, I called an old friend, a lawyer who had once helped me buy this very house. We met at his office. His eyes softened when he saw me, Rihanna, after all these years. He said, I smiled. I just need to know something. Is my house still under my name? He checked, then nodded. Yes, you never changed the ownership. That night, I slept peacefully for the first time in months, not because I had a plan, but because I had hope. Then I closed all the accounts and left them nothing. A week after meeting my lawyer, I began gathering the papers, property documents, bank forms, my pension statements, everything that had once been used against me. Each sheet of paper was a reminder I had trusted too much, and they had taken too easily. I kept my movements quiet. When Sarah asked what I was doing, I smiled and said, "Just cleaning old things." "You know how old women love their memories." She laughed and walked away. If only she knew what memories I was about to clean out forever. 2 weeks later, I went to the bank again. The same polite teller looked up and said, "Oh, Mrs. Rihanna, you're back." "Yes," I replied softly. "I want to close all my accounts." "Every single one of them." He blinked, surprised. "Are you sure, ma'am?" I smiled. I've never been more sure of anything in my life. By evening, my accounts were closed. Every rupee was withdrawn and placed in a small envelope, my final act of quiet independence. Then I called the real estate agent. Within days, a kind elderly couple came to see the house. They had the same warmth I once had in my home. After a few meetings, the deal was done. The house, my last piece of belonging, was sold. I didn't tell Robert. I didn't tell Sarah. I just waited. The day they found out, it was raining heavily. I was sitting near the gate, my small suitcase beside me, the property signboard standing tall, sold. When their car stopped, Sarah's face turned white. Robert rushed out, shouting, "Mom, what is this? Tell me this isn't true." I looked up calmly and said, "It's true, Beta. The house is sold. You said I don't need my pension, remember? So I figured I don't need this house either." His voice cracked. "But where will you go?" I smiled softly, looking at the rain. "Somewhere I can live in peace. Somewhere I don't have to ask for permission to exist." Sarah tried to interrupt, but I raised my hand gently. "No, Sarah, you don't have to say anything. You already said enough." I picked up my small bag and began to walk away. No shouting, no drama. Just the soft sound of rain and my footsteps, the quiet victory of a heart that finally chose peace. If you've ever been told you're too old, too weak, or too late to take back control, remember, it's never too late to stand up for your dignity. Even a whisper of self-respect is louder than a house full of ungrateful voices. I moved to a small seaside town, far from the noise of the city. My new home was tiny, 1 room, a small kitchen, and a balcony facing the waves. But it was mine. Truly mine. Every morning, I made tea and watched the sunrise, the golden light washing away the memories that used to hurt. Some days, I'd laugh at how peaceful silence could feel when it wasn't mixed with judgment. For the first time in years, I wasn't invisible. I wasn't old Rihanna. I was just me. Months passed quietly. Then one evening, as I sat watching the waves, my phone rang. It was Robert. For a moment, I didn't want to answer. But a mother's heart, no matter how hurt, never really stops beating for her child. "Mom," he said, his voice trembling. I'm sorry, I didn't speak." The sound of the sea filled the silence between us. I didn't know what she was doing. I should have stopped her. I was wrong. He paused. "She left me, Mom. Sarah's gone. She took everything." My heart ached, not out of satisfaction, but sorrow. Sometimes life teaches lessons we wish we never had to learn. "I forgive you, Robert," I whispered. "But I can't come back." His breath hitched. "I understand. I just wanted to hear your voice." I closed my eyes and smiled sadly. My voice was always in that house, Beta. You just stopped listening. After that call, I sat in silence for a long time. The sky turned purple over the sea, and the wind carried a hint of peace I hadn't felt before. I realized something then. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting what they did. It means choosing not to let it poison your peace. I had lost my money, my home, and my old life, but I had gained something far greater, freedom. A year later, I received a letter. It was from Robert. He wrote about how much he missed me, how the house didn't feel like home anymore, how he was trying to rebuild himself. At the end, he wrote, "Mom, if there's still a place in your heart for me, please let me visit you." I smiled through tears, because even though I had walked away, a mother's heart never closes its doors completely. Maybe one day he'll come. Maybe one day he'll sit by the sea with me, and we'll drink tea together, not as a son and a mother divided by betrayal, but as two people who finally learned what love really means. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to remember their worth. Because no matter how old, forgotten, or betrayed you feel, your dignity is never something anyone can take from you. Sometimes walking away isn't weakness, it's wisdom, and sometimes the ones who lose you learn too late what you are worth. Like and subscribe for more true stories.